my best. Okay. All right. High five. You see that? You see what I just did? That's a carryover from the last show.
That's right, for in person.
Right.
Yes.
I went on Audible and I got the audiobook to listen back and forth. So,
Okay.
So it's going okay. But you know what I've learned?
What?
If you're listening to a book, it's not going to work if you don't like the voice of the person reading the book, especially when it's the author.
Yes.
Her voice is like, am I a bad person?
You're not a bad person.
Okay.
Don't you remember a while ago I said something about working with someone, and I kind of threw in there like, well, if you're gonna be working with this person for a while, you have to like them, get along with them, you have to like their voice. And you're like, that doesn't matter. And I was like, well, I think it matters. I hate my voice. And it's something over. And you're like, nope, it doesn't matter. Voice doesn't matter. I think I proved my point.
Like a steel trap. I can't get anything.
But it is true.
I do remember this conversation, and I remember feeling like it didn't matter. Yeah, perhaps if somebody's voice was, maybe she has a great voice for book publishing.
Are you telling me I have a face for radio?
No, not at all. No, I'm saying
No.
her thing.
All right. Well, in any event, presentation, it does
Yeah.
matter. And to say like you're going to like or not like an audiobook because of the author, that's pretty appropriate.
So I wasn't expecting that, and I feel like I learned something there. So tell me, Lisa, tell me a story. Tell me something that you've learned from a mentor, another realtor, a story that, a lesson you've learned that you want to pass forward on to another agent. Maybe they haven't learned this yet, or what would you want to pass on?
I think
what do we say?
Pay it forward. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
One, it's a lesson that I have heard and I still need to learn and to do more often, believe it or not, is to stop talking. And that we always hear listen more. We always hear as soon as the client says yes, like even if you're mid-sentence, to stop talking. And it's like, but wait, I didn't tell you about the money back guarantee. I didn't tell you about the home warranty. I didn't tell you. It's like, nope, they said yes. They want to sign the contract. I need to start listening. And because I think sometimes as we look at doing a consultation, if they break our stride, we kind of feel like,
you know what, I have a way of thinking of this. I heard someone make, every once in a while you hear a sentence and you're like, oh my gosh. So you can keep this one. No one ever listened their way out of a job. Right? No one ever listened their way out of an interview, out of a job.
I mean, and I think about the agents, and you and I both sit with people who are preparing for whether it's a seller consultation or a buyer consultation, right? On the way here, an agent in my office, hey, what's the market ballpark? What's the market gone up in the last 2 to 3 years, right? And so I know they're preparing for presentation. I know they're putting a lot of work into it. And it's kind of like you want that performance opportunity. And so it is hard when someone says, cut,
right?
You got the job. It's like you're happy you got the job, but you're like, oh, I prepared. You didn't get to hear all my stats.
I know, but working so hard. The preparation maybe needs to be more in the questions and less in the answer, right? We sit down at the table and we think we're the answer, and maybe we're the question.
Right. And I think too, as an agent, right? You may not fully know your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients that you're going to be meeting with. So you're preparing if Chuck's a visual person, you're preparing if Chuck is a numbers person, you're preparing if Chuck is a bottom line person. So you've got, we always talk about our agent toolbox. In your toolbox, you've got all the tools, and your favorite tool may not be his favorite tool. And you really want to go over that PowerPoint about how you're going to capitalize your boost leads and turn that into activity. And this person's just not interested in that. And so you feel a little disappointed that you haven't prepared it. So, but again, so that lesson, just, when they say yes,
move on. Do you have any any test closes that you can throw out there? Like, because that would be the thing, right? That's the time to close. You don't just, say, well,
Yeah.
where's your pen? Sounds like you're ready to start signing. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a close, but
Right.
but
Well, I think we've all learned trial closes.
Sure.
Right. So, Chuck, if we were going to be getting the house on the market,
Mhm.
would you prefer to start showings on Monday or Wednesday?
whoa, this Monday?
Well, it's already 4 o'clock, but we probably could do it today if you want. Now, don't say that if your admin's leaving and you need assistance getting the listing in, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow. Okay. All right. I like the sound of that.
yeah. So, I mean, that's, you know what? I used to always tell people, like, we've got lots of forms in selling a house, right? Like, Chuck, I'm going to be sending you an update every week about what's been happening. What's your email? And I start writing the email on an official looking
Mhm.
piece of paper, and I'm watching his reaction. Like, he's like, "Oh, well, you don't have to. I haven't said yes yet." Or if he's like, "Okay, nope, fill it in, start filling out the paperwork." We call those are good buying signs, right?
Right.
He's interested.
Getting them in the habit of signing
Yeah.
something. Give them something to sign.
Anything.
My mentor called that putting the nail in the coffin. I don't know. That's
Well, I have heard that again way back
Yeah.
when. The first time
Yeah.
they see a
I
pen
don't know
or
if
a contract,
a coffin is
yeah,
the
we don't want
right
to say coffin.
path, the
But-
right analogy, but
Yes. What it's been some of the ones you've
my gosh.
taken to heart?
One time I was about to I had my laptop open, was about to get into it, and I lost my computer just, and I couldn't get it started. And I said, you know what? I go, this was amazing. I go, this presentation was amazing. But if it'll probably take me about 10 minutes to get this back up, but if we could just skip it if you want and just go ahead and sign. She's like, yeah, let's just sign. Right. So sometimes,
Yeah.
I had to do the best I could. I really didn't want to bring it back up, and
Right.
and I said, let's just go for it. Let's just see if they're ready to sign and pass
Yes.
over all this.
Because there are times where you're getting a phone call, maybe you're on phones, maybe you meet them at open house,
Yeah.
maybe they've been, somehow gotten to you. But more often than not, it's by the time you have paper in front of them, it's your second conversation. So they're
Right.
getting through the process of getting
Sure.
to know you.
I feel like the
You know?
initial part, as we said, the importance of listening. And initially you're asking a lot of questions, and that's a consultation. You need to get the information so that later you can do a presentation. How can you do a presentation if you haven't really found out this, all of this, right?
Right.
And I like to be able to do it all in one step if I can. 2 steps is okay, but really you should, you could just quickly pivot, take all that information,
Mhm.
mull it over, and then go into, and I think we should do blah, blah, blah. Or
Yeah.
what would you like? Would you like it to do it this way, or would you like to do it that way?
Yes.
Right? Giving them options.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think you said, Chuck, do you want to list on Monday
or Wednesday.
And I like Monday.
And I didn't say, do you want to list with me?
Right. No.
When do you want to get started?
Yeah, 100. Absolutely.
I also like it. I think we hear it in Helen's message, at least once a year. Like, what does she say? Get up, get dressed, get up,
Get up,
get up, show up, dress up.
No,
what
it's
have
get
you.
up, dress up, show up. Good, gadoozu. Somebody said gadoozu.
Yeah. And
Get
just being there.
Dress up,
right?
show up.
We can get into that, analysis paralysis, right? Like, well, I haven't done the CMA. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I don't know if I have a sign in my car, all those, roadblocks we put up ourselves, but just get there, just show up.
They are more likely more nervous about it than you are. It's the truth.
But what if I'm brand new, Chuck?
What if you're brand new?
How could they be more nervous than me?
Because they don't know you're brand new.
Right?
I mean, they really don't. And you have practiced before you're brand new. You don't just go when you're brand new and you just walk in and hope for the best.
Right.
I make a lot of sports analogies for this specific analogy. And I heard a guy, he said it really well. He was talking about professional athletes, and granted, they make professional athlete money, good for them. But they practice like 3,000 hours, which is a lot. But we go to work, 3,000 hours a year, right? They practice 3,000 hours to go to work for 16 hours a year. 16
Wow.
games, like NFL guys. 16 games, 1 hour games, 16 hours. They practice 3,000 hours. So what about us? To me, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should be practicing.
I agree. And, some some people get nervous to practice. They get
Sure.
nervous to practice in front of another agent, in front of their manager. But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Okay. So
you
this is
know?
the time, Lisa, where you say, Chuck, tell me about a lesson you'd like to pay forward.
I just did. But tell me another lesson you'd like to pay forward.
Well, that wasn't exactly.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, got to get the business, Lisa. You got to get it. I mean, listen, I would love to get every listing at exactly where I want it to list and exactly the time frame and exactly this. I have a plan and I want everybody on my plan, but I got to be flexible. And it's not my house, right? It's their house.
So are you talking about like when an agent is out there and they did a CMA, they
Sure.
say what it should list for, and the seller has a different idea?
Yes, the seller has a different idea. Guess who's in charge? Guess who's in charge?
I think I know what you're going to say.
I think the seller's in charge. It's their house, right? They're going to
Yes.
hire you. You're going to work as hard as you can. Hopefully they get on board with you. You're very convincing and hopefully you're in sync. But you know what? If you're not, you got to get the business.
Well,
We're going to sell the house. It might not
yes.
sell. Boo-hoo, we don't sell the house in 4 days.
Right.
Did you ever think there'd be a day where almost every house would be sold in the first 2 weeks?
No.
No. I mean, this is relatively speaking a newer development in real estate.
Yes.
Even when I got my license, it was 10 years ago in 2015. I remember those first months, there was 85 houses on the market just in the city of Batavia, right?
Wow.
And it was different.
Yes.
And so nobody saw this coming, but here we are.
Yeah.
So the house is going to sell. We got to get the listing.
Yes. And to piggyback on that, I do believe though, motivation is key.
Mhm.
If you know their reason for selling, if they're going to be agreeable to modifications.
Sure.
If there's no motivation to sell, that's another story. But when they want to make a move, you can work with them.
The thing about got to get the listing though, you don't have to, sometimes just let the seller have it at their price. If you're off by 10,000 or 20,000, and depending on how expensive the house is, what a percentage of price difference that is. But sometimes it's better to just let them have it at whatever they want versus trying to get them to meet you somehow lower to get it closer to what you wanted.
Well, what I like about what you're saying, Chuck, is it sounds like you're saying, our therapy session here, it sounds like you're saying, be on the same team as your seller.
Okay.
Like, let's not start our relationship fighting.
Right.
Let's say, okay, you know what? And when I was selling it, that I used to like to say, this is the one time I like to be wrong.
Yeah, I would love to be wrong.
I'd love to be
Right?
wrong.
100%.
Let's give it a try.
Right.
You know?
If it doesn't work out, you can sit down and say, hey, we sat down here 3 weeks ago. I made a presentation. I made a plan. You liked the plan, except for this part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You said, we're going to do it that way. And I said, okay, you've modified the plan. Now it's your plan. We rolled with it. Here's where we are. Now let's shift back to my plan. How much closer to my plan can we get?
Or because I'm a negotiator, mediator person. I like everybody to feel good.
Sure.
What if at day one we have a plan which starts at your price and has a date where we adjust?
Right. You're kind of building them in for the future.
It's necessary.
In case. And don't get me wrong. I like to sell your house. One of the reasons I like to sell your house for as high as possible is selfishly to earn as much as I can in income.
Yeah, we both win.
We both win. So it's all the ultimate win-win, right? 100%. But if we're not going to get there, we're establishing this now.
Yeah.
And I think it helps you. You've already had that conversation. So when you actually do have to have it, it's a softer landing.
Right. And if you get that buy-in on day one, again, you're lessening the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you give me a call, Lisa, it's been 3 weeks. Remember we talked about on the 15th, we were going to talk about a price adjustment. We had that showing the other day. We haven't gotten an offer from them. So I think today might be the day like we talked about.
Yeah. I feel like maybe I should try this with my son. I want you to do this. But if you're not going to do it, here, I've got this ready. Yeah. Okay. I'd love to see you do blah, blah, blah. But if 2 weeks from now, it still looks like this, Here we
Yeah.
are. We're in agreement, right? You're signing.
Right.
You ever have your kids sign anything?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I still actually have it in the drawer, the little house rules that they both signed.
Yep. We get on the
And
same page. We get an
yep.
agreement. We're on a team.
Yes.
So
Yes. And I love that you just said again team, because you and the seller are a team,
absolutely. Yep.
and if you start adversarial, it's hard to continue it as a team.
Right. They're true.
And I think, there's something to be said. Like when you're signing that listing agreement and Chuck and I are at the table and you're signing your side, I'm signing my side. We're shaking hands like, hey, we're in business together.
And you're marketing the property. That's the only thing that you should be doing. You shouldn't be mowing the lawn. You shouldn't be taking out the garbage. You shouldn't be painting the deck. Okay. So we need to get them on our team so that they're doing those things like they should.
Yes.
For the highest and best result. They're the ones that are going to benefit the most.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice when we sell higher and make a little more income, but it's really not that much, right?
No.
They're really the ones that benefit the most.
Yeah.
So let's keep us as the marketers.
Right.
Stage.
Again, that kind of goes back to one of, the same kind of bits of advice that I had gotten, which was, to stop overthinking, right? Like you can critique that CMA down to the penny. You can get so caught up in the minutia that you don't move forward. But if your mindset is, I want to work together with these people to help them achieve their real estate goals, then you're always going back to that. What is their goal? And again, I started in the business when, the interest rates were very high and the market was very different. And you had to have conversations, because not only did you list their house for 6 months, but you had to get a 6-month renewal. I don't know if you've ever had to do that.
I've had expires. Yeah, no, I do remember the renewal. You would practice.
Yes.
The contract renewal appointment.
Right. And then it really was to remind, like, okay, you wanted, the reason you were selling was, and we would encourage, like, remind them, like, it's worth it, because it's not fun to have what feels like an unsaleable house, right? Like they're not feeling great either. No one's feeling good.
No.
But remembering why we're doing what we're doing, it making positive things happen along the way is huge.
Yeah. Do you ever have any agents who are nervous about a property that's on the market too long, and they feel like it's a reflection on them, and and they're really struggling with it?
Because yes, and not to cut you off, but
that's a question.
That same experience, the 6 months in and the 6-month renewal, in today's market, that's your 30-day conversation, right? If an agent has a house on the market for 30 days, that feels like 6 months.
There's no because that's what the buyers are saying. The buyers are saying, well, 30 days.
Something's wrong with
What's wrong with it?
Yes. And so
it used to be, we're just getting warmed up.
Right.
And now it's like, what?
You couldn't even get a print ad in 30 days, right?
So, yeah, but you know what though? They shouldn't take it personally.
No.
And not for nothing, I feel like I say you're representing your client. It's literally not your listing in a way, right? It's the client's house. They're the ones making the final decision. You represent your client.
Yeah.
And you're working hard. You're working hard no matter what. That's a professional.
Yes.
Don't be nervous about having one that doesn't roll perfectly.
Yeah. And you know what? There are unique houses out there, right? Like, I mean, we know homes with white and gray kitchens are selling fast, right? Does that mean you have to have a white and gray kitchen to sell your house? No. Right. And so maybe there are some reasons that a particular house is going to take a little bit longer. It doesn't mean it's a problem, and think about how happy buyers are now that they have a little time. They can look at a house once or even twice before they make an offer. They can get a contract accepted and have a home inspection. Sometimes, there are times when that is happening, or a pre-purchase inspection. Those are all things that can make a buyer feel good.
Absolutely.
I think.
All right. Well, I like this. Like you said, listening more, right? I said, no one ever listened their way out of the business, right?
Yes.
And as I said, Oh, I lost my train of thought. I do that. You guys,
There's a lot of
every-
traffic going by
everyone who
on the
knows.
street.
I know everyone who knows me. No, like, yeah. What was my? I can't.
You had a couple of good ones in there, Chuck. We're gonna have to
I know.
rewatch the show.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll rewatch it. If you,
Yeah.
no, let's put it out there. What's the lesson? Have you ever? What have you gotten from your mentor? We're only two agents. We only have so much experience to share with everybody. That's what makes our audience so valuable. You guys have. I mean, we're exponentially multiplying the level of experience when we add in our audience.
Yes.
And we believe sharing is caring, and this is a place we can share. So, so put your story in the comments. Tell people the one lesson that you've learned from a mentor, someone else in real estate, that you want to make sure you would want everyone to know, everyone to hear about.
And I think, it goes back to like, we obviously have a fun time doing this. We smile the whole time, laugh the whole time. Like when we care about each other, when we share ideas and success with each other, we all feel better. You
Right.
feel, when someone shares a story and someone else learns from it, those are two people who now feel good, right? And if we can keep doing that.
You know what it makes me want to do? High five. That's big. Okay. The high five habit. That's a Hannah high five. I'm calling that the Hannah high five right there. All right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.